in Puerto Rico. You can walk through centuries of history in a single afternoon. Massive Spanish fortresses, city walls, and colorful streets that feel like you're on a movie set. And today we are speedrunning it. The top sights, local bites, stunning views, and of course we are toasting the day by having a piña colada in its birthplace. You can walk into all of this history straight from the cruise ship. We're Madison and Ivan. Let's madventure. Ahoy from Miami. If you've been following along, you may be wondering why we're back on the Resilient Lady. A week ago, we crossed the Atlantic on this exact ship on a 2-week cruise from Barcelona to Miami. It's kind of a crazy situation, but rewind to a year ago, we had to cancel a cruise and they refunded us in credits that expire within a year of the originally scheduled voyage. We booked essentially the same cruise this year, but we got such a great deal on it that we had a bunch of credits left over, making this cruise basically free. Which brings us to now beginning our 3rd week on this cruise ship this month, headed to San Juan, Puerto Rico. I have wanted to come here for so long, I truly cannot wait. Buenos dias from Puerto Rico. We are docking.
This is one of those mornings where you step outside and you realize I am not putting any makeup on because I would sweat it all off. And we're wearing caps. But I'm so excited to explore Puerto Rico.
We look like tourists.
Yeah.
Yes, we are, but...
And our Puerto Rican friend that we sat next to last night at dinner, she told us that we should also just wear sneakers. She was like, sandals might seem nice because it's hot, but we're going to be doing a lot of walking today. And we got to be prepared properly. Vámonos. Everybody, let's go. 3:30. I was not expecting that. I thought that it was 5, so...
Walk fast, up and down Puerto Rico's hills.
We are off the ship as soon as the doors open, ready to explore. The location of this port is right in the middle of Old San Juan, walking distance from everything we want to do today. And immediately as we walk around, we are taken by how stunning and colorful the city is. And the history is everywhere. We're casually walking along a 400-year-old city wall on our way to our first site of the day, El Morro, the most iconic site in all of Puerto Rico. As we approach the fort, we actually see that there's already a battle going on in the moat. A battle of athleticism. And the creatures in the moat are doing nothing to help. It really is so cool to see that this place, once an important military outpost, now is a part of the community, with people coming here for picnics, sightseeing, kite flying, all just here on the grounds.
It is November, and the sign is here. And necessary.
Before we talk about the history of this fort, we have to talk about why it was even built. In 1493, Christopher Columbus landed here on his 2nd voyage and claimed the island for Spain. They renamed it Puerto Rico, or Rich Port, because of its natural harbor and strategic position. It was Spain's jewel of the Caribbean, which is why it's so full of massive fortresses. Construction began on this fort in 1539 and took nearly 250 years to complete. But El Morro protected Puerto Rico from pirates, enemy navies, and anyone who dared approach from sea. Its walls are up to 18 feet thick. And this fortress survived attacks from the English in 1595, the Dutch in 1625, and the US in 1898, during the Spanish-American War, which the Americans later won, and Puerto Rico became a US territory. After 1898, El Morro didn't retire. It just switched flags. The US military kept using this headland to guard San Juan Bay, and during the World Wars, it became part of America's coastal defense network, watching the shipping lanes and keeping a close eye on threats in the Caribbean. And here's the wild part. In 1915, shots fired from this very fort stopped a German ship leaving San Juan without proper clearance. often credited as the first shots fired by US forces in World War I. It's so cool to see the changes that have been made to this 400-year-old fort throughout history. The US added infrastructure like baseball diamonds and a golf course in the early 1900s, which makes seeing the locals using this spot for recreation even cooler, because that itself is a part of the fort's history. They also added things like a bunker, observation post, and anti-aircraft equipment designed to watch for submarines and air attacks. And history aside, this place is simply stunning. El Morro is truly incredible. Even the streets themselves are part of history. All over San Juan, you'll notice these beautiful blue cobblestones that seem like an ornamental choice, but actually they're practical. When ships crossed the Atlantic, they needed extra heavy weight to keep the ship steady. And this is the heavy material they used, repurposed into city streets. Our next stop is San Juan Bautista Cathedral, the oldest cathedral in the US, founded in 1521. It's also home to the tomb of Juan Ponce de Leon, the Spanish explorer who searched for the Fountain of Youth. He may not have found the Fountain of Youth here, but Puerto Rico did give the world a different kind of magical drink, the piña colada. And now we're gonna try one where it all began.
We have come to the birthplace of the pina colada. Like literally, this physical building is where the pina colada was invented. And what a beauty she is. But right off the bat, I'm noticing some differences from a lot of the pina coladas I've drank. First difference right away, the color of the pina colada actually is a lot yellower than you often get. Like you get like a milky cream white drink. This is quite yellow, and the rum is a floater on the top, so you know exactly what you're getting there. And because the rum is on the top, as I'm holding it here, I can just smell the sweetness of the rum, not of the beverage, the sweetness of the rum just filling my nose. It smells delicious. Honestly, I feel like this rum by itself would be a delicious beverage. That is a perfectly sippable rum. That is very, very nice. It's sweeter on the nose than it is on the tongue, but it still has a nice, rich flavor. And now I'm gonna stir it up. I believe that's what I'm supposed to do. Cheers. Oh my gosh, what? Such a nice, strong pineapple flavor. Oh my gosh, just like absolutely refreshing. It is a very hot day here in November in Puerto Rico. And that is just like filled with delicious coconut, delicious pineapple, so refreshing. It feels like does not feel like a health beverage. It's very sweet, but it feels like an electrolyte beverage, but a very, very tasty one. Not something that came out of a packet, I'll tell you that much. Pina coladas are one of my favorite drinks, and I never order them because I'm just setting myself up for disappointment often. This is definitely my favorite pina colada that I've ever had, as it should be at the birthplace of the pina colada in Puerto Rico.
Mofongo. This is one of the top dishes to get here in Puerto Rico. I've been looking forward to it so much because I love plantains, I love fried pork, I love garlic, and that is exactly what this is. So it's like a very garlicky, like mashed plantain with this delicious fried pork here on the top. They are so known for their pork here in Puerto Rico that there's literally like a road that is like called like Calle de Cerdo or something like that, where it's like a road just of restaurants that serve amazing pork. So you know that like this is gonna be amazing, and it truly, truly is. The atmosphere here also fantastic. We were jamming so hard to the live music of the people coming through. People were making requests, singing all together. It is such a vibe here in this like kind of diner style restaurant that has this nice like local feel despite being like in the very touristy area here in Old San Juan. The pork is crispy on the outside, perfectly fried. And then there is so much garlic in this dish. I absolutely love it. The plantains are a little bit more, a little bit younger of plantains, like not overly ripe. So it has that good, like starchy texture and flavor. There's still a little bit of the sweetness that you get from a really ripe plantain, but it's mostly like this amazing starchy texture and taste and the insane amount of garlic and that tiny bit of sweetness. It's so good. Oh my gosh, I forgot they brought us hot sauces too. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah. There's definitely some good habanero going on in there. That is delicious. Just bringing up like already a super delicious flavor, but taking that like, I feel like this in an amazing way. It kind of is giving like Puerto Rican diner style, not only from the atmosphere but also from the food itself. And then this hot sauce just takes it like wakes you up, adds in that acidic, kind of elevates it to like a different level. Oh man, this is so fantastic. I think I love Puerto Rican food and drink. It's been so good, from the piña coladas to the mofongo. Very happy.
Our last stop is Castillo San Cristóbal, which closes in about an hour, and I've just got to shout out our national park rangers who are passionate about what they do and where they work and immediately guided us to the bunkers that close in 15 minutes to make sure we got to see them.
This is cool. Okay, the phone is making it look not as dark, but it is really dark. Guys, we are going down into the bunker. This is the largest fort in the Americas, Cristobal.
In case of chemical attack, World War II, they served as the Joint Operations Center Command Bunker.
They've been in use in the past 100 years.
Cristobal, this fort, was used for land defense. El Morro, on the other side, was used for sea defense because they're so close to each other as well. They kind of defended each other from the opposite threat.
This fort is absolutely massive, and unfortunately we have to get back to our ship. But for $10, you can visit both forts. $10 per person, you can visit both forts here in San Juan. Yeah, it's really amazing. I wish we had more time to like fully explore everything, but luckily at least the fort is also closing, so I don't feel quite as sad. Like, I don't know if we could have explored more of these forts anyway, even if the ship had stayed longer. But
this tunnel is the longest of 6 hidden passages in the fortress. Others run beneath the outer defenses to your right. So these were actually a type of fortification. They protected soldiers from enemy fire, and they enabled commanders to move large number of troops into new positions unseen by the enemy.
the all aboard time is in 28 minutes, and Ivan's like, should we leave? And I'm like, I don't know, we haven't seen the top yet. Okay, what about maybe through here?
It's just so cool. And we'll just run if we have to.
Wow. Oh yeah. It's time to run. Let go.
We made it back on board, barely. But honestly, I wouldn't have been mad missing the boat. San Juan was everything. The history, food, views, and energy. I didn't want to leave. Watching the sunset over the island as we sail out is the perfect ending to this incredible day. The island is absolutely stunning, and we have barely made a dent in it. Thank you so much for joining us for this madventure. Please hit those like and subscribe buttons. It truly helps us out so much. We'll see you on the next one. And in the meantime, check out one of these videos.